And welcome in everybody to Sports and Leisure with Heflings and Heisure. This is episode number 40. And crazy times we're living in right now. Crazy times. Our last episode, a lot has happened since our last episode. I apologize that it's been so long, but in our last episode, everything had just kind of gotten postponed. We were still in the wait and see period. NHL and NBA had been canceled. Well, not canceled, but postponed. And we were really unsure what we were going to see in the next couple weeks. And now that it's been almost a month and nothing has really gotten better, more things have been canceled, and it's looking more and more bleak as the days go by that we're going to keep going without sports. It kind of sucks. When we first got together, the three of us, talking about what kind of podcast we wanted to put out, we really were unsure, but we just knew that we wanted to get into sports because, we all love sports, and there's always going to be something to talk about with sports. I mean, I felt like a boat mechanic in Hawaii. I mean, everybody's always going to need their boat fixed. Everybody's always going to want to hear and talk about sports because there's always something going on. I mean, I don't know. I think there may be 1 or 2 days out of the year, if that there is not a professional sport being played. And I could be wrong with that. I think there's a professional sport being played almost every day. And now there's nothing going on. It sucks. I mean, you have ESPN playing professional basketball players playing NBA 2K on their Xbox. That's what ESPN is showing right now. And you got classics being played. And I don't even know what SportsCenter is doing for a full hour every day. It's crazy. It's crazy times that we live in. And I honestly think this is going to affect America and how people treat and how people go about their days for the rest of their life. And this is one of them. This coronavirus scare is this generation's 9/11. It's something that's going to happen that's going to change all of our lives, something that we're all going to remember what we were doing and what happened and exactly where we were when we first found out what was going on. And like I said, it's just been crazy times. Even though everybody has been quarantined, most everybody's been quarantined to their house or forced to stay at home, it's been increasingly tough for us to all get together. So hopefully this episode, kind of fixes everything and gets us back going in. So let's just get into it. Sports and leisure, Heflings and Heisure. Sports and leisure, Heflings and Heisure. Sports and leisure with Heflings and Heisure. Sports and leisure, Heflings and Heisure. Sports and leisure, Heflings and Heisure. This is Sports and Leisure with Heflings and Heisure. So, Greg, how's the virus affecting you right now? I know you're still an essential employee, pretty much, but what's going on in Iowa? What kind of stipulations you guys on, or restrictions that you have, and how's it affecting your day-to-day work?
Well, I don't know. Everything's kind of closed down and just takeout like everywhere else. My Chinese place, they're closed down right now, so that sucks. Also, it's really fucking with corn prices, so distillers are like double the price now.
Dang.
For my cattle, so.
Is it selling high though?
My cattle. What's that?
Yeah. Is it selling high?
Yeah, it's all part of the ethanol shit because less people are driving, so the gas prices are down, and.
Oh yeah. What are the gas prices up there?
Corn, $1.50.
Okay, yeah, that's what it's about. It's about $1. I think I got it today for $1.57. So, which is real nice. But the only thing is, we can't go anywhere. So, are you guys on like stay-at-home restrictions, or you just everything's just kind of shut down?
I don't know. I think it's kind of just like anywhere. Just don't go anywhere unless you need to.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is here. Is everything's just most everything fun is closed, and everything's on. All restaurants are kind of takeout, and there's only 50 people allowed in Walmart or Kroger or whatever stores are open. Only a certain amount of people are allowed in there. It's kind of
Yeah, I heard
kind of a
Walmart's getting
buzzkill,
weird. They have like paths
more
to
weird than
take and
usual.
shit.
Oh yeah. There's like it's gated off. Like they got carts all gated off there, so you got to get into a line, and there's tape where you can only stand there and stuff like that. And then they're got somebody there at their front door counting, see how many people are coming in and out. And like I said, only 50 people are allowed in there, which is it's nuts. It's crazy how this is all going down. But yeah, I'm like you. I'm an essential employee. I gotta still go into work every day, and my job says I can't leave
Get to go
the
to
city.
work.
And if I have to, well, yeah. I mean, I work for the police department, so I mean, we're there until the apocalypse. So, but yeah, my job said I can't leave the city, and if I leave the city, then when I come back, I have to. They're forcing me to take at least a week off to kind of quarantine before I can come back in. So, I think about just leaving for the city and just stay for a couple weeks, and but nothing's going in and out, and it's kind of it's weird. It's just a crazy time. Like I said, this is coronavirus is like this generation's 9/11. It's something that affects pretty much your life for the rest of your.
And at what point do you decide like, okay, that's not, you know what I mean? They're gonna fuck more stuff up than the virus actually will eventually. At a certain point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know they're trying to, make sure hospitals aren't overrun and all that stuff, but I don't know. I don't think it seems like there's quite a few people that have it that aren't symptomatic too.
Yeah, you don't know until like 2 weeks in. I think like you may have it, but you just don't show symptoms. So
and most people can't.
I understand
get a test,
why it's all
so,
going down.
Yeah,
you have
no
to have
one really
like.
knows if they have it unless they're showing.
Do you guys have
symptoms.
any drive? Do you guys have any drive-through testing anywhere?
No, not around here.
Okay,
anyway.
yeah, we have one here at our fairgrounds. Yeah, you could it's a drive-through testing, and like, and unless you're really bad, like they just tell you to go home. Like I think we have like 69 cases last time I saw here in my city, and I think like only 12 or 15 of them are actually hospitalized. The rest they're just telling them to go home. But so far no deaths here, and I think they said our peak will go in like a week or two. So we're just gonna get in there. I think by the end of it we'll probably have like 200 or so cases. I think. By the time it's all said and done, probably around 200. That's my guess.
How do you know? Like,
no basis on
I
that
have
guess.
No idea when it's gonna be done.
I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna go away. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be just a thing. So I mean, you know what I mean?
Like
There's
flu.
only 2 viruses that have ever been, cured ever. So I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah.
This. I mean, they'll be able to
What-
negate the effects, but
What is something do you think is gonna affect? Like, how do I put this? What changes do you think are going to be made even after this is done? That's going to continue on. Like, how do you think this will affect the world or people after it's done? Like, good or bad?
I think people will just be cautious. I guess. I don't know what else they can do when it goes back to normal.
One good thing about this is I think in the future, because of this, I think flu numbers are going to be lower, especially in the next year or two. I think less people are going to be infected by the flu. I think more people are going to be cautious. Even when this is done, I think they're going to be a lot more cautious, and they're all going to be using sanitizer and washing their hands a lot more. And, they're going to probably keep social distancing a little bit more. Like, even when it's all said and done, people are still going to want to keep their distance.
I'm all for
so
social distancing in general.
Something good out of this is I do think, flu numbers and whatnot will go down next year, maybe even the year after that, just because people are still, like you said, going to be cautious and keep social distancing. So I think that is maybe one good thing that's going to come out of this is people are going to continue to stay cautious and proactive on, keeping themselves clean and not spreading germs and sickness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
I think the big issue is
that's about
they just don't have a big understanding of it. I think that's the biggest panic part of it. Because there's other shit that's more widespread
for the most part
than this, but
I think the big thing is you just don't know you have it for
contagious.
2 weeks. Like if you caught it and then you immediately show symptoms within like 6 or 7 hours, that'd be a huge difference. But you could get it and then not show symptoms for 2 weeks. And I think that's what throws everybody off. I mean, I could literally have it right now and I just don't know. So I think that's one of the big things that messes with people, and then you just have people that don't care, don't seem to care, and are just morons. Like, I'm sure you've seen that story where that girl or whatever went into Kroger or went into the grocery store after she was tested positive and was just licking stuff and coughing on everything and just.
Well, that's the thing. There's a certain amount of assholes
turd.
that this thing's going to spread anyway. There's going to be people that, there's people that do all sorts of stupid shit just to make other people suffer. Like,
well, I know one guy did it too. I think he was in Arkansas or something like that, and he got arrested and he got charged with like terroristic acts or something like that, like which rightfully he should. He should go to jail for a couple of years, and
Then when someone has it and they're like, this ain't so bad, then they're probably like, well, fuck it, That's just human nature. We're all like, kind of, oh, well, I'm not going to be the problem. But those people that have
like that, I'm not afraid.
Idiots.
Like, if I get it, that's not, it's going to suck. I'm not going to, obviously, I don't want to get it. But, if I get it, I don't think it'll be, the end of me. But, for me having to spread it on to, like, my parents who are older and or my children, I don't want to do that. And I think that's what.
Yeah, where would you go?
Makes me the most worried. I could care less if I get it, but.
But if you got it, where would you go?
I'd probably just have to be quarantined in my house, and my wife and kids would have to leave me, and they'd take the kids like they were DCS and run away, and I wouldn't have to see them for a couple weeks. But like I said, if I get it, I'm not worried about myself getting it. Yeah,
good choice of words there.
It's just spreading it around that keeps me worried, and one reason I don't want to get it is because I don't want to have to spread it around. So but
that's really the only reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless it really fucked me
obviously
up,
the bad thing about this obviously the bad thing about this is it could affect sports further on. It could throw a huge wrench into sports in the future. Like, when would you feel safe to go to a football game or any professional game?
I don't know. We're a long ways from that, because even restaurants would have to open up first, before you get thousands of people together. You need restaurants. But like, let's just say the next stepping stone.
Yeah. Well, let's just say everything is good, and higher officials, government officials, and the NFL, say it's okay, and they're allowed to let fans back into the stadiums and watch games. Are you going to go back right away, or are you still going to be tentative and kind of cautious before you go back out to a game?
Well, in theory, if I went to games, I would probably still wait, because watching it on TV is always, I guess unless it's basketball is pretty good to watch, and hockey, well, pretty much everything but football. Football, I'd rather watch on TV than be at a game, regardless. But
okay. Well, let's just say you're given two
until vaccines come out. That's when I would wait.
Yeah. Well, everything opens up. Sports is back up there, and they're having games up there. First game that the Bruins play, you get 2 free tickets. Are you going to go?
If they give me plane tickets and shit too, then yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah.
It's too risky.
Well, I was just seeing if you would trust
if I caught it.
If you would trust government officials to tell you it's okay to go.
Well, I'm not listening to government officials anyway. There's people that listen to people are always like hell bent on like whatever Trump says and all that. Like it's his job to spin shit positively. People aren't looking to him for freaking medical advice. Except for maybe the Confederate waving bozos that are Trump supporters. Not to say that
the super duper Republicans.
I'm just saying, the super fucking weird people.
Yeah.
They might, but
well, like I said, it's just it's a crazy time, and like I said, it's this generation's 9/11. You're always gonna remember where you were and what you were doing when this all went down, and it's just a crazy world thing that happened that it kind of affected your life, and that's how I feel it's gonna play out in history. Like it's just like I said, this generation's 9/11. It's something that it's gonna affect the rest of our lives. I feel so.
Well, even talk about
I think enough
making another comeback in the fall. They might keep it under wraps, and once it cools off again.
I've heard that the warm weather might slow the spread down a little bit because diseases and viruses they slow their role with warmer temperatures. So they're saying,
but California is
with
still
these
kind of fucked up right now, and I suppose it's only like 75 degrees there, but.
Yeah, I think New York's got it worse just because I mean everybody's on top of each other and the weather's a little cooler, and like I said, everybody's on top of each other. You can't go out to your mailbox without running into like eight people. So I mean,
well, it's different
that's why
now.
they're kind of all jacked up. But with the nice weather, that could slow the numbers down, and that may push people to open everything back up, and that could cause a resurgence. So, like you said, that's definitely possible. So, I think being cautious and just stay at home.
Well, you see all the
It's gonna get
measures that
everything-
they're taking, and like they're upping, like they're trying to get supplies and shit. Once they're more equipped to handle it, then I think it'll start to go back to normal. I don't think the virus is going to go away anytime soon, though. That's all I have. Thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's enough. That's all I'm gonna give it to it. So, that's all. We have one other thing before getting to sports. Have you watched Tiger King yet?
I've seen parts of it. And Jocelyn's watching it.
Good parts of it.
It looks great.
It's crazy. Like I hope I'm sure a lot of people have watched it. If you're listening and you haven't watched it, go give it a watch while you're in this quarantine. Because I mean, it's just redneck people and tiger people just doing like whenever something crazy happens, like you're like, of course that would happen. Like that's just nothing surprises you, but like you're also surprised that it's like all this stuff is going down to these same people, and it's just like. It's insane. You need to finish it off, and I heard they're dropping another episode today, Sunday, April 12th. So I haven't watched it yet, but I finished it a couple weeks ago, and it's crazy.
They're still making episodes then.
I guess
they
like
just released the whole thing.
They recorded that dude for like 8 years. So I mean, they just have a ton of footage.
Yeah, but he burned that
I guess
building
they just
down.
didn't.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, part of it, but I mean, they still. Yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry. I'm sure they still have a ton of footage. Even after this next episode that they put down, I've heard that they're in talks with season 2. I don't know what more could go on or what more you could show in there, but it's crazy. Like I said,
they should just make it a reality show now. Like just keep making seasons.
Well,
of it.
he's in jail now. I heard Joe Exotic actually has the coronavirus. I heard he
really?
is in quarantine because he's showing symptoms.
Probably sucking and fucking all those dudes, I guess.
Probably.
But
what's
he in prison
everybody
for?
needs to be tested that's been around him.
I never did.
For paying someone to
burn that building down.
Hiring a hitman to go kill Carol Baskins. But yeah, that's just it's crazy. That dude, I mean, how everything that's going on with that dude. That he's also a country singer, and then he also ran for governor and got 19% of the votes. If you live in Oklahoma and you're an Oklahomian or Oklahomanite or whatever you call yourself, your state, 19% of your state voted for that psycho, you should be embarrassed. Like, that's just embarrassing. That's going to be my, whenever I need to make fun of Oklahoma fans, football fans, I'm going to be like, you guys voted for Joe Exotic for governor. You can't talk to me. So,
yeah.
If living in Oklahoma, that's pretty pathetic. But,
meh.
What else have you been up to, have you been doing while quarantine? Or is life still kind of same old for Greg?
I don't know. Saving money, I guess, probably. I'm probably going to come out better than I was before it.
Well, that's good. That's the goal. The wife's been putting me on house duty. We've just been doing a bunch of stuff to the house. A bunch of painting, taking out trees in front of the yard and redoing stuff, and
it looks kind of empty without that one tree you cut out.
Yeah, it looks great. Like that. It was just in the way. I had to take out.
What are you gonna put there?
I think we're gonna pour some cement out there. We're gonna get some cement in front of the house so we can. I don't know. You'll have to talk to my wife about that. She's got the grandmaster. She's got the blueprints on. Oh, I just do what I'm told and try and stay quiet. So But yeah, doing a bunch of stuff on the house, watching Tiger King, and just going to work and whatnot. That's what I've been stuck quarantined to, and it's been needed to be done. So I'm kind of glad it's happened. It's given me time to do it, and it's looking good. But that's about all. I am ready for this to be over with. I'm ready for get back in sports and whatnot. And I miss baseball, and I don't even miss baseball that much. But this is supposed to be a great time of the year. It's supposed to be playoff time, and baseball starting, and it's just the complete opposite. So we're all stuck watching a gay tiger owner hire somebody to kill a woman.
I don't know if hockey's gonna resume this year. I don't think they.
It's not looking like it. and especially especially the NBA too. I think everybody's waiting on the NBA because they feel NBA. I think they're the self entitled, the most woke league. Like they try to be the most politically correct and try to do the most, with politics and try to use their situation as a platform to do the right thing. So yeah, like I said, the NBA they try to be the most woke league, and hockey I think just tries to follow them just because they don't want to look bad and whatnot, and also the NBA is more popular too. So I think the NHL doesn't want to do something different than what the NBA is doing. So I think you either get both of them back, or we're not going to get any of them back. And from what it's looking like, we're not going to get any of them back, which sucks. But
probably not, because eventually it's too late, and you're going to
so.
screw up next season as well as this season. And
yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I'm over it.
I've already come to terms that it's not happening, so I'm okay. I mean, only something good can happen from that.
I was hoping Dana would pull off that UFC event, but
at the private island, I was
Disney
hoping
shut
that too, but that's
down.
just.
They're like, nah, can't do it.
I mean, like I said, because you can't. I mean, you could bring somebody in that, like we already talked about, that's been infected, and you just don't know it yet, and he could infect, everybody on that island, and it just wouldn't look good, and it would look bad on Dana. So yeah, I think that's kind of why he had to. I don't think he wanted to. I think he was getting whispers from his posse, that he shouldn't have this.
No, it was Disney, because they have an ESPN contract, and they're shutting down all that shit. And also UFC, their contract with ESPN is that they have to put on 45 nights of fights on ESPN per year to get the $750 million that they have in their contract. So even more of a reason for them to shut that down, because there's no way there's 48 weeks left, and they have like 40 and whatever. I don't know how they figure out the year, but yeah, there's only
40
have to have one for every week,
whatever.
Except for 4 weekends, and I don't know. I get it, but whatever.
Yeah, it's just,
to me, who gives a shit? They're all fucking. They're all fighters. They're in good shape, and they're not like really.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be
you would
back
think
for
that they would need probably the least amount of heads up time, like a fighter, like NBA and NHL and the NFL, like they would need a couple weeks preparation.
NBA, you can fucking
I'm
quit
just saying,
playing and play a year from now. Fighter, it's way more
I would agree
preparation.
that, but the players and the coaches, they're going to want like I said, they've been talking about restarting the playoffs. If the season ever does start,
there's more pieces.
A lot of them want to play
keep in place. That's what. If that's what.
Well, and they want to play a couple regular season games before the playoffs start. Like they're all saying they want to play like 5 or 10 games before and then start the playoffs. And whereas I think with UFC fighters, they need like maybe a week ahead of time to know when they're going to fight, just to kind of not get in shape, because they're probably going to be staying in shape, but just to prepare more so. And
yeah, but they have to have a camp, and they can't be. They're not able to spar with people and train properly because they're supposed to distance, and weight cuts take like 4 or 5 days, and it's more than you think.
Yeah, but I still think, that's true. It probably is more than I think, but I still think it's less than what an NFL or the NHL or NBA would want. Because maybe not need, but they would want.
Yeah, because there's one individual versus another. It's not like you're not trying to have a collective team getting ready and shit. That takes the coordination is different.
And all those teams are going to want to, like I said, a couple games to get chemistry back up and just to get going, and it would be a lot. And I've been hearing, NFL season is still up in the air, but a lot of people are saying that if there's no training camp or there's no like kind of preseason, they're going to need OTAs or training camp, or else there's not really going to be an NFL season. They're going to need, I think they're going to need to know by August 1st to kind of have 4 or 5 weeks of training camp before they can get a season going. Yeah. So, and then, like I said, every day it's looking more and more less likely, which really sucks. Because in NFL, I need my NFL. I need my fantasy football. I need that all to come back and give me something to do. But since we're on NFL, we haven't been here since free agencies happened. So this is one of the most interesting free agency periods, and that's not even counting in the coronavirus and all that stuff that's been going on. You add into that, without a doubt, it's been the most interesting offseason in NFL, probably in NFL history. But
For
without the
quarterbacks.
coronavirus, just with everybody in general, I think this is probably one of the best free agency classes that we've had in the NFL that I can remember. I mean, in the NBA and the NHL, you always have a lot of good big-name guys out there almost every year, at least 3 or 4.
But who's really
NFL,
moving?
it's just not like that.
Other than like Tom Brady
This year?
and what the hell's his name? Dude from San Diego.
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers. But, I mean, there's still a lot of and then you had Teddy Bridgewater, who went to the Panthers. Who else? Nick Foles was traded to the Bears, which is crazy. Like you're probably right with the quarterbacks, it being a more quarterback year. Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, both their futures are up in the air.
Which usually there's not that much quarterback movement. I mean, backups and shit. And
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah. The
half-ass
backups
guys.
move around a lot, but yeah, like you said, like let's see, Tom, Phillip Rivers, Bridgewater, Winston, Newton, Foles. I mean, that's 6 starters right there.
Daywalker.
That have who?
The Daywalker, Cincinnati.
Oh,
Yeah.
Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just talking about the 6 that I just named. Those were starting quarterbacks that started multiple games last year, and that are on the move most likely. That are on the move that have already left. You know, Cam is still up in the air. I think he's been cut though already, and they're going to see what they're. I think Jameis. I don't know if he's been cut or not, but his future in Tampa Bay is pretty much over. So, what do you think about this free agency period? Who are you excited to see? What do you think was a mistake by a team or a player to get signed? Just tell me what your overall thought was on this free agency period.
Well, Bears are they're a bunch of dumb fucks always. Like Jay Cutler, my God, they've finally got rid of him, and now they're bringing in Foles. Like, goodness gracious. I get it though. I mean,
think
what else
they're
are they gonna do? But
well, I mean, what pick do they have? They could have other. They have other options than going to get Nick Foles and taking on his huge, ridiculous contract. I mean, it's nice to know that the Bears organization finally realized, that Mitchell Trubisky probably isn't their guy moving forward. But I mean, if that's the case, I think you just go on, cut him, or you draft. You try to move up in the draft and get Justin Herbert, or you get Tua if you can, and just kind of start over again instead of bringing on, injury-riddled Nick Foles, who seemed to can't play well for anybody except for the Eagles. It's just I still think their quarterback situation is far from being solved.
it was 1 year. Joe Flacco had he had a Hall of Fame year too. He sucks.
You talking about Nick Foles?
Yeah. I mean,
No, he had two
he had
good
one.
years.
Did he?
Well,
Like recently,
that,
or you mean
when he
back
took
then?
over from Michael Vick? No, like it was like his second or third year with the Eagles back when Chip Kelly was the coach, and he took over for Vick, who got hurt, and he posted like a ridiculous 25 touchdowns and 3 picks. Like, I think that's still a record for touchdown to pick ratio. And then Vick came back, and then he was traded away, and then he just was garbage, and then for a couple teams, and then came back and obviously won the Super Bowl for him. So yeah, kind of like what you said, he's had 2 good years.
The
Kind of
Jaguars
like Joe
don't want
Flacco,
him.
where
Then if the Jaguars
No,
don't
the
want
Jaguars
him, then no one
are-
should probably want him.
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Well, they
if you're
have
the Bears
Minshew.
and you thought this was gonna fix your quarterback situation, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, obviously it's the same people that drafted Mitch Trubisky. So,
But
they shouldn't
Trubisky,
be
I
trusted.
think he was probably the worst quarterback last year. One of them for sure. I mean, Winston had a lot of freaking turnovers, but Trubisky's just
Winston,
god
I
awful.
think
So
he's-
even if you go to
I'd rather
Foles,
have-
that's enough to probably. They made the freaking playoffs with that piece of garbage at quarterback the year before. So they have their team is really solid overall.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. They have a solid team, so I think you need to do you need to reach a little more and try and get somebody a little better than Nick Foles. But I guess they're just thinking Foles. He does take care of the ball pretty well. He just he just gets injured, I think, too much. And the only thing I could think of is bringing in him. It'll create, a quarterback competition and maybe just get the best out of both of them. And, hopefully light a fire under Trubisky that'll get him to elevate his game. I don't see it,
yeah.
but, he is still young. This is just his third year. So, he
He's
could.
Done.
He
sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. But, I mean, to be fair, to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, I mean, look at that offense that the Bears have. Can you name more than 3 people on that offense?
No, because I don't watch the Bears because I don't want to.
Well, I mean, any good, decent offense, you can name a couple playmakers on there. So,
yeah,
but
I guess so.
We'll see. We'll see how
People
that
still think
pans
Sam
out. Like I
Darnold's
said,
awesome. They don't have anybody.
he's still. It's only his. He only played 2 years, and he was out for last. I'm more sold on Mitch Trubisky being bad than I am Sam Darnold being bad. I think he can still.
No, yeah, I'd rather have Darnold than him. I'd rather have. I'd
rather have Winston than both of them. I think Jameis Winston, he kind of got a bet. Yeah, 30 interceptions is a lot. That's ridiculous. And I think he even had 12 dropped interceptions too. So that number could have been a lot higher. But I think that's just a bad year. And
he wouldn't wear contacts.
That offense that Bruce.
The dude can't see.
He got LASIK eye surgery, which I think is just a coincidence. I think that's funny. But we'll see. Who do you think should pick up
talked
Winston?
about it. On the shit that I've been listening to, they've been talking about it for like the last year. Pardon my take, they make fun of him all the time about that.
Oh yeah, I mean he's definitely not above being made fun of. I mean, even without him throwing 30 picks last year,
and just
even without him throwing 30 picks,
he's just an idiot.
He still has a lot of stuff
and a good quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, this could light a fire under him, and I still think he deserves another shot somewhere. I'm not willing to put Jameis Winston's career to bed. I think the Patriots should go after and get him. I don't think
I like him.
They will. Yeah, I mean, if anybody can get him to play right, it's Bill Belichick. But I don't know if those two would mix and work well together. I mean, you go from Tom Brady to Jameis Winston, like almost polar opposites of each other. Personality wise and whatnot. That'll be. I think that would actually be hilarious if Bill went and signed Jameis Winston and played him and just to throw it in Brady's face that I don't need a quarterback like you. I can win with Jameis Winston. I think that'd be great. So I still think he should go over there. Or
Tom Brady.
Heck, if the Bears should have signed
the Patriots last year anyway. He was checked out. I mean, I'm not saying he sucks, but
yes and no.
He was pretty fucking garbage.
Yeah, but the Bears should have gotten Winston. I mean, they could have signed Jameis Winston, not having to give up anything. Also, his contract would have been a heck of a lot less than Nick Foles, but I guess they just didn't.
Even Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton is like. I mean, he sucks, but I think he's very coachable, and I think Cincinnati, their team is just terrible all around. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, he could definitely pull a Ryan Tannehill, where I mean, him and Tannehill and Dalton both have somewhat decent. I mean, they're not terrible.
Andy Dalton
they've had decent careers.
Like 6,
made the playoffs,
10+ win seasons with the Bengals.
Yeah, and Tannehill, he did. I mean, I don't think they made the playoffs, but he was definitely on the fringe of the playoffs for like 4 or 5 years, and he wasn't terrible. But then you get him into a new surrounding, a new team, and he just kind of improves his game a lot and shows that he's worth something. I think
Andy Dalton, who'd you say?
Given the right situation, huh? If Andy Dalton finds the right team, and he could go to the Patriots too. I really think there isn't any quarterback left over that Bill Belichick can't take in and make a decent quarterback out of.
I agree. I think any of those guys, he could take them in and they would do just as good as they did. Well, their defense isn't going to be as good either, but I think their offense will,
It's going to have to improve. It wasn't. I don't know what their exact stats were, but you could tell just by looking at that Patriots offense that it was definitely the weakness of that team, and could use some improvement. And that's not all on Tom Brady. I think they had a lot of injuries. I think on their offensive line, right, and then they didn't have any wide receivers, worth a hoot. So
It's fucking sirens going off everywhere. I don't know what's going on.
that's not good.
Sorry. Go on.
No, you good. You good. So, okay. Anything else you want to throw in there about what did you think about Phillip Rivers going to the Colts, or whatnot? And then you have that whole situation with Todd Gurley leaving, getting cut by the Rams, signing with the Falcons.
I like
Melvin
that.
Gordon leaving, go to the Broncos, and then the whole Texans debacle. Like, what are they doing? Like, I mean,
What was the recent thing they did? I forget. They got
they
that
they
receiver.
traded for Brandon Cooks. They traded for Brandon. Well, first off, before free agency even started, they go off and trade DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson. And did they get a second round pick and they sent a fourth, or did they get a fourth and sent a second?
They got like
either way,
yeah.
I think they had to have gotten a second and sent a fourth with DeAndre. But I mean, obviously there's more that's gonna come out with that. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins and probably Bill O'Brien's relationship wasn't good, and
Right.
the little that has come
You
out,
can't
it
win
doesn't
every
look
trade.
Like it was good,
like
but,
if any team is always, you do what you got to do.
yeah.
The cap space is.
But I mean,
I guess they don't save any
you
because
lose-
they signed fucking David Johnson. But
Yeah, you lose trades when you're trading away like an offensive lineman or a linebacker. You can't lose a trade to your best player. Well, maybe not best player, but one of your best players and then one of the best wide receivers in the league. You can't lose that trade. You have to at least break even. And taking on David Johnson's huge contract and adding that to it, it's not good. And then you go on right after that and you sign Randall Cobb and give him like what 17, 18 million a year, which is just. You couldn't pay that to DeAndre Hopkins. It's crazy.
they didn't
So,
want him.
yeah,
Culture
I
is
think
as important as anything. Patriots have showed that they've. I mean, I think 2014 they probably had the best overall team, but other than that, they, I guess in the early thousands they had like one of the best defenses, but it's not all about talent.
Yeah,
Not
no,
the
that's
NBA,
I will give you that. Culture has been, and the Patriots are a prime example of that. They've had the same
Why do you think the
culture
Browns
since.
suck?
Yeah, and the Redskins. Yeah, yep. I would.
Redskins,
You're right.
God.
You're right, Greg. When you have the right culture, you can plug and play just about anybody, and and have an attitude and always be there and always have a chance of winning. And that's what the Patriots have done for the last 20 years. So. That's true, but I think the Texans have probably been the biggest loser here this free agency period, just because of them and maybe the Chargers. The Chargers they've just lost a bunch of guys, and for a team that went, what would they go like 6-10 last year, or 7-9, or
Yeah, something like that.
or for a team that was that bad, they lost a lot of talent this year, and it's probably gonna be a bad year next year for them. It's looking like they're going to keep Tyrod Taylor and have him be the quarterback. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers or the Texans, big losers here in this free agency period.
Who
do
did
you
the
think
Chargers lose other
what team
than
do you think?
Rivers?
They lost Melvin Gordon.
Still have Eckler,
Who
though.
else did they lose? They still have Eckler, which
all
I
about
think
the
they should have
balance.
just kept riding him.
I mean, teams that pay their
Yeah.
running backs like 10+ million don't win.
Yeah. They should have kept riding Eckler hard last year. Even when Melvin Gordon came back, they should have just kept rolling with him.
They wanted to
not
save him
try
because they knew they were gonna get rid of Melvin.
I guess that's true. What team do you think, though, has been a big loser in this free agency?
Oh, the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
it's
lost
tough to-
all their linebackers and
Yeah. And Tom Brady. I mean, that's
Tom
just
Brady. Yeah, I'm
But-
so fucking happy they lost Tom Brady. I was so afraid that they were gonna keep him for a few more years and have him fucking bitching all the time and not working with people and dragging the team down. You could tell he was checked out.
I think it was a mutual, and I don't know if you heard Tom's David Stern interview. Did you listen to any of that?
I've listened to my Boston radio and they played some clips, but no, I haven't listened to it directly.
I mean, from the sounds of that, it sounded like it was kind of a mutual split. Even from the beginning of the year that all three of them, Tom, Robert Kraft, the owner, and Belichick, all kind of knew that this was probably going to be their last hurrah. Unless they like lost in the Super Bowl or something like that. So it did kind of sound mutual, and they did kind of keep it somewhat professional. I think Tom Brady, though, after now that he's gone, and you can already see it with him going on David Stern, he's going to start letting some more stuff out, about the Patriots way and all that stuff, and kind of and what was going down. So I'm interested in hearing more of that.
Out, though. All he said is
not
it was
yet.
time. It was time.
Yeah,
like, that's not saying
like
anything.
I said, not yet, but I mean,
it's like why did you get a divorce?
Say about your coach.
It was time.
But I mean, there's stuff you can't say about your coach or anybody when you're still playing for that team. Now that he's gone, like I said, it may not be tomorrow or last week that this stuff comes out, but I think more and more stuff will kind of, none of it will be detrimental, I don't think, to Belichick or Tom Brady, but just little stuff that we never heard of or never even knew was going on now that he's not there. So how about winners of this free agency period? The Cardinals have come out really good just on that DeAndre Hopkins trade alone. They've looked, and getting rid of David Johnson, I think those two alone have made them pretty big winners. And then obviously Tampa Bay too. So what team do you think has been a big winner for this free agency period?
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Just because of Tom?
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't feel like there's really been a crazy amount of things happening. I don't know. I suppose the Colts, because they have all the other pieces in place, so Phillip Rivers might be just the thing that
and I would agree with you on Tampa Bay too. Now that he's there, you're going to have a bunch of other free agents that are going to want to play and go over there and sign over there to be a part of that and kind of ring chase and kind of jump on his bandwagon and be a part of that. So they could definitely add some more pieces and really nail this free agency period. I already said the Cardinals, I think, have done well in getting some of their pieces. And like you said, the Colts have been they've added a bunch of small pieces that could be big. Phillip Rivers, I think, is kind of a question mark, though. If they could get a good year out of him, better than he's played the last couple of years, they could definitely turn that team into a contender there in the AFC. Maybe get in the playoffs and maybe win a game or two. I don't see them beating Kansas City or maybe even the Ravens at this point, but the Colts, they've had a good little period of free agency.
Yeah, I think they're pretty well set. I like that team a lot.
Yeah.
They don't have Jacoby.
Yeah.
Softy.
Which kind of I like Jacoby. I think he's cool, but yeah, I don't think he's a good bridge quarterback, kind of to raise up before your rookie starts or a year or two, kind of like what the Colts needed out of him was to play this year while they look for a replacement for Andrew Luck. And he was pretty serviceable. I think he got hurt though and missed a game or two, and they just missed out on the playoffs. But like I said, he'd be a good bridge gap quarterback, kind of like a Brian Hoyer or who else? Or a Case Keenum kind of guy, just a good filler in there, a really good backup quarterback. But what was I gonna say? The Cowboys, though, they've I think you're starting to see their team kind of crumble. I think a little bit. All these chickens are coming home to roost, and they're gonna have to start paying all these guys and whatnot, and Dak getting transition tagged or franchise tagged. And they're having to pay Amari Cooper. They've already had to pay him, and now they got Elliott. They've already lost a couple linemen, and then their center Frederick retired. So that what were they when they went 3-13? 13-3 that one year. Dak and Zeke for a rookie year. That team is starting to really crumble and be out of there. So that's
who's their coach?
McCarthy. McCarthy.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
So he
Okay.
could. Well, we'll
I
see
don't know
how
how
he
I
how
feel
he
about
takes
that.
over, but I think their financial situation, it's not as bad as the Rams was, but I think it's not looking good, their financial situation. So they could be in for next year or two, kind of a bad cap situation. So that's, which is terrible to think about. You hate to hear it.
Yeah,
But
Rams really screwed themselves.
yeah, anything you
But
want to add about free agency, Greg?
no.
No, okay. All right. Well, I think we'll put it off. We'll cut it off on here. We'll try and record another episode in a couple days and really get into the draft. That's something I want to get into because that's really the only. Hopefully, it still goes on, but that's the only sports event we're gonna have that we've had in a while and that we're gonna have for the foreseeable future. So I really want to hit the draft hard and really have a good episode, a full episode for the draft. So like I said, I think we're gonna cut it off there and whatnot. You have anything sports or coronavirus or anything you want to add in, throw in there?
No.
Just tell everybody to stay at
Tired.
home.
Tired of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, stay home.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining in, guys. We hope you really enjoyed this episode. Hope you tune in for the next episode, hopefully this week sometime. But with everything going on, I don't want to put in stone what we're going to be doing. But I hope you tune in either way. I hope you guys have a good week. Hope you're staying healthy, staying clean, staying at home. Hope you guys have a good week, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.